From Petco Park in San Diego, the Dodgers gunning for the season opening sweep over the San Diego Padres, trying to start 3-0 for only the third time in the last 2 decades and trying to continue that sterling starting pitching over the first 2 nights. Kershaw on opening day with a 7 shutout frames, and Kazmir in his Dodger debut last night, a 3-0 win, gave up just 1 hit over his 6 shutout frames. Tonight, it's Kenta Maeda out of Japan making his big league debut and trying to carry the Dodgers to 3-0. And we say welcome inside with Oral and Nomar. I'm Joe Davis. Solana Rizzo joins us in just a moment. Kershaw was fantastic in the opener. Kazmir again last night. And now it's Maeda we get to see for the first time tonight.
Kenta, since becoming a Dodger, has gotten high marks in almost everything that he has done, and especially the way he throws the ball, but also the way he has assimilated into the U.S. culture as a Dodger, getting along with his teammates, trying to speak English, and really pushing on that. The slider, the fastball as advertised, accurate to both sides of the plate. A guy who's a fantastic athlete. He will turn 28 on Monday. I don't think any of the pressure will get to him. I think he will continue these great performances of pitching we've seen so far.
So going on 28, but technically a rookie. So is Corey Seager, even though he had that fantastic start to his big league career last year with a month call-up, and he's been great so far this year.
Well, when you get called up in September, what do you want to do? Well, you want to leave a lasting impression, and he definitely did that. And what does that mean? Well, you get the starting position coming into your rookie season at shortstop, and he has not disappointed. He's picked up right where he left off, coming off September. So far in 2 games, all he's done, 4 for 9, a pair of doubles, 2 RBIs, hitting at the top of the lineup, and I'll tell you, watching him, I don't see him slowing down.
He'll hit second again in this lineup, and not much change once again. Just that 1 swap in the catcher's spot. A.J. Ellis back in. Austin Barnes back to the bench. Kenta Maeda's big league debut will be well covered. That's an understatement. Alana Rizzo dives into it after this. Dodgers, Kenta Maeda making his big league debut tonight, walking in with his battery mate A.J. Ellis and his interpreter Will Ireton in front of Game 3 of this season opening series between the Dodgers and the Padres. And our closed captioning is brought to you by Shumash Resort and Casino, where we are all about you. Dodgers taking the opening day game 15-0. Winning last night 3-0 on the strength of that 3-run fourth inning. It was Clayton Kershaw giving up just one hit over 7 shutout frames on opening night. It was Scott Kazmir last night with his 6 shutout innings. Retired the last 17 men that he faced after giving up that infield single to Corey Spangenberg during the first inning. And then the bullpen took it from there with Baez and Hatcher and Jansen all delivering scoreless innings in that 3-0 Dodger win. Finish up this 3-game set tonight. Board the plane, fly to San Francisco as soon as this one finishes, and start a 4-game set with the Giants tomorrow. That'll be the Giants' home opener, as Andrew Kashner leads the Padres onto the field. We'll face this Dodgers starting lineup tonight. Chase Utley once again leads things off for this lineup presented by Honda. Corey Seager out of the 2 spot. Justin Turner hits third. Adrian Gonzalez hit 3 home runs in one game against Kashner early on last year. If you remember, back at Dodger Stadium in one of the first games of the season. Puig's off to a hot start. Triples in both games. And it's Crawford, Peterson, Ellis, and Kenta Maeda who showed an ability to handle the bat a little bit in Japan. Andrew Kashner, 29 years old, out of Conroe, Texas. Nomar trying to bounce back from what was the worst year of his career last year.
Well, you see his record at 6-16. He had exactly 1 win in each month of last season. But despite that record, you know, he still has the 6th best home ERA in the major leagues since June of 2013. And when he comes at you, he comes at you with a power fastball. And that fastball ranked 5th as far as high velocity in the National League last year. So you know you're going to get some high speed, feature with a slider, curveball, and a changeup. And this year he's been working on a sinker to try to minimize the long ball. As you mentioned, Adrian Gonzalez touched him up for 3 in one game. But if any of those stats carry over from last year, he did have an ERA over 5 in the first inning.
It's really surprising with his stuff that he's struggled so much. The run support, of course, but this guy is in a contract here, so a little bit more motivation this year. And I think the way these Padres are going with rebuilding the organization, guys, that he could be a piece that other clubs look at come June, July, that they're going to want to trade for.
Could be one of many. Tyson Ross on opening day, a guy that a lot of teams covet. Even James Shields' name has been floated around. He started last night. With a few position players as well that could be on the move sometime this year. So here's Chase Utley. They had the 3-hit game on opening day out of the leadoff spot, then went 0 for 4 last night. It's leadoff again.
It's one of those where 0 for 4 last night was a bit deceiving because he had 2 rockets that were caught.
Andrew Kashner, big burly right-hander from Texas, comes home with the first one, and off we go with ball 1 at 94. You mentioned the fastball from Kashner, one of the hardest fastballs in the National League. 4-seam and a 2-seam. Throws some variation of that fastball about 70% of the time. Strike 1.
A 2-seamer right there with some tail. Not actual sink, but nice little tail.
A little bit low, says Jim Wolf. Calling balls and strikes tonight. Utley jumps ahead in the count, 2-1. So the afternoon game tomorrow in San Francisco. Dave Roberts said before the game today that Chase Utley will play in that game despite the quick turnaround. A couple of other veterans could see some time off. Carl Crawford, he said, will get the day off. And there's a chance Justin Turner will rest tomorrow afternoon.
We saw Chase's average last year at 212, but for him playing a day game after a night game, and probably as healthy as he's been in a few years. So actually him playing tomorrow, being scheduled to play, shows how much confident they are in his health.
Leading off this ball game, battling against Cashner.
You talked about Chase and his health. I guarantee you, we talked about Dave Roberts so much about the way he communicates and the way he communicates with the players. He's going to the veteran guys such as Chase who understand their bodies, really to say, hey, how are you feeling? Because I'm thinking about getting veteran guys some days off. How do you feel about possibly that day game after a night game? And so he makes his life and decisions easier.
Comes another 2-2. Utley pulls a line drive to right center. That's a base hit. All the way to the wall for Chase Utley. Kemp tracks it down. Utley thinking three. Relay on the way. Not in time. Leadoff triple. Chase Utley.
Leading off in that spot, 37 years old, looks just fine so far earlier in this season, and he gets a breaking ball down the middle of the plate, stays on it, drives to the right center gap. And what was impressive is as he's going, he's not just assuming double, he's looking, and he noticed that kind of misplay out there that Matt Kemp didn't pick it up cleanly right when he attempted at it, and that he put his head down and said, after seeing that, I'm going for three with a triple.
Yeah, he was his own third base coach right there. Really didn't use Chris Woodward. Most guys, when the ball's in front of them, do that themselves.
Corey Seager now takes a strike. Dave Roberts loved the season opening at bat that Chase Utley had against Tyson Ross. 7 pitches, finished that with a double. He sees 6 pitches to start the game against Cashner and cashes in with a triple. Seager lays off. 1 ball, 1 strike.
As a hitter, especially in the 2-hole, you don't see this too often because you don't see a leadoff triple often, right? But you go out, you got a leadoff triple, even with the defense back. It's now you're going, okay, I'm looking for a pitch I can drive in the air to look for that sacrifice fly, but also just stay up the middle because even a ground ball can bring him in.
Fastball was enticing, couldn't lay off, falls behind 1-2. Out hit the Padres by himself last night. 3 for 4. Padres managed just 2 infield singles. 1 in the first inning, 1 in the 9th inning. String of 25 straight retired between. Little jam shot, and that'll be caught by Spangenberg. So Cashner gets Seager. And now gets Justin Turner, who in limited exposure against Cashner in his career has some nice numbers. 4 hits and 6 at-bats. Has doubled twice against Cashner.
Place where the Dodgers can keep the momentum from the first 2 wins. 15-0, 3-0, a leadoff triple. Get him in, keep the momentum going.
Dodgers third baseman takes ball 1. The tailing fastball at 95. We mentioned Dave Roberts said there's a chance that Turner will get some time off soon. Whether that's tomorrow or not, we'll see. It'll likely be either Kike Hernandez or Charlie Culberson that would start at third if he did rest. Turner lines one the other way and starts the scoring with a base hit. Triple from Utley, single from Turner. 1-0 Dodgers in the first. And up comes Adrian Gonzalez. One of the last times he faced Cashner was early on last year. Homered 3 times against him in Cashner's opening start of the 2015 season. And he always seems to give the Padres, his former team, his hometown team, problems. laid on that fastball. Strike one.
Well, that's one thing about Adrian Gonzalez. I mean, you can say he looks comfortable in a lot of batters boxes throughout the league with the career he's had, but spends so much time here in San Diego, familiar with the batter's box, the view, the batter's eye, everything. So coming back, he has a tendency to be very successful, and then also playing all those games at Dodger Stadium. So that's why he beats up the Padres.
One for 4 with a double last night after a 3-hit performance in the opener. 5-time All-Star Adrian Gonzalez opening his 13th big league season and taking a generous strike, 1-2.
With a man on third and 1 out and Justin Turner up, you think Adrian Gonzalez doesn't run well. Maybe you pitch around Turner, set up the double play. But with Adrian's pedigree and history against Cashner, that got Turner a pitch to hit and be able to drive into the gap.
And on that, Oral, often overlooked is how important that at bat was by Justin Turner. Because when you get a guy over there at third base, less than 2 outs, and your third hitter, for example, you know, and they're infield back, you're thinking, I got to get that run in, find a way that they're going to pitch me. Because if you happen to get out and not drive him in, well, they can pitch around Adrian Gonzalez, and now you leave it up to the guy behind him to have to pick him up with 2 outs. So that was a really big at bat by Justin Turner.
Turner at first with 1 away, and a 1-2 to Gonzalez is fouled back. Born here in San Diego. Family moved to Mexico when he was very young, but moved back to San Diego while he was in grade school. He's the #1 pick in the draft at a high school here in San Diego. And then after beginning his big league career with the Rangers, came over to the Padres in '06. Spent 5 years in a Padre uniform before going to Boston and then eventually to the Dodgers.
Talk about communication with the veterans and knowing their body and who might play tomorrow in the day game. Adrian Gonzalez, a veteran that not only knows his body but knows how to train it every year and makes adjustments, uses boxing in the offseason to keep himself in good shape. Really attentive to all the different ways as he ages to keep himself in almost the same shape.
Speaking of, where were you this morning when Nomar and I were getting after it in the gym?
I think I was still under the covers watching TV and studying baseball. Watching the MLB network, I think.
See, perfect timing for you to say, oh, I actually went for a run and enjoy the beautiful weather out here. You know, but I'm glad you're honest.
He's a truthful guy.
Dana, my wife is taking it up to tennis shoes, so she might motivate me to get back out there.
You were honest too, Nomar. I came in and said, man, what have you been in here, like an hour and a half? You admitted you had just gotten in there. Runner takes off on ball 4. A 9-pitch at bat for Adrian Gonzalez, and he earns the walk. That is a pro hitter right there.
And the entire at bat, you know, he's working the pitches. He's looking for a pitch to drive, recognizing he's upset with himself that he misses that one. Down and away, knowing they're going away. This one he was upset off because he felt it was off the plate. Fights off a breaking ball with 2 strikes, a pitch up in the zone, lays off of one, still looking, fighting, recognizing that they're going to go away, fights off another pitch, still in this game. Great walk.
And so 2 on for Puig. The Dodgers already in front 1-0. Puig already with 2 triples this year, 1 each night. He had 3 triples all of last year, guys, dealing with those dual hamstring injuries.
Right. We talked about coming into this season how Yasiel could be the X factor, really being an impact
for this Dodger lineup. We've seen him making an impact so far in the first 2 games, but here's a perfect scenario of what we're talking about, because Justin Turner, the 3-hole hitter, what he's done, knocked in a run, now he's at second base. Adrian Gonzalez can possibly work the walk. It's going to leave a lot of RBI opportunities for him. So if he can continue to capitalize on that, it's going to get Justin Turner better pitches too throughout the course of the season. Adrian Gonzalez better pitches as well, and then Yasiel being able to knock guys in.
We were talking before the game too. It also gives you a really natural option to hit second or third if you want to give Seager or Turner or even Gonzalez in the cleanup spot a day off here and there.
You're right on, because we also talked about, we just mentioned that possibly Justin Turner may get a day off tomorrow from that travel day game after a night game. Well, who's going to hit third? Well, Yasiel, if he's swinging the bat well, he's a prime candidate to kind of just hit in front of Adrian as compared to behind him.
Dangerous count for Andrew Kashner, bringing a 3-1 to Puig. Lines it in the air to deep right. Matt Kemp is there at the edge of the track for out number 2. Advancing to third is Turner, and they're at the corners.
Tell you, that may be an out.
Yeah, it was a good at bat.
Exactly. That's a positive at bat for sure. Good swing, and he drove it to right field. I mean, obviously deep enough to move just Turner over. You don't knock in the guy, and I understand, but hopefully he recognizes that's a good at bat. Stay with that approach, go the other way.
What I really like about the last 4 at bats, other than Corey Seager check swinging with the fastball up around his shoulders, all the batters have had good pitch recognition and are swinging the bat when it's in the strike zone and taking it when the ball's a ball.
Because of that, it's a 26 pitch inning already for Andrew Kashner here in his season debut. Guy that has had good numbers against the Dodgers in his career. ERA a little more, or a little over 2 in 21 career games against LA. That's the best mark for him against any National League West team. His first one to Carl Crawford. In at the knees, strike 1.
I think you got that one right, Carl. That looked low.
Crawford had an RBI single last night, punching one through the left side against a drawn-in infield to bring home Puig after his triple.
That same hole where Carl hit it through with the infield in over there in the shortstop hole as they scoot Alexi Ramirez over a little bit to that same area. It was open when Ramirez was kind of favoring the middle of the diamond. The Padres not needing a double play with 2 outs. He could be shading over in that hole where Carl likes to shoot it.
Andrew Kashner's 30th first pitch inning is strike 2. So Kenta Maeda will have a lead to take the mound with. Maybe help calm some nerves that may exist.
It is so nice to take the mound with a lead. Gives you that little bit of breathing room. Kind of changes your pitch selection a little bit in certain counts.
Hills around the edge, and it's full on Crawford, so Gonzalez will get a head start from first. With Jock Peterson due up next. Turner at third, he had an RBI single. Gonzalez at first, he drew a walk. And Kashner to Crawford, 3-2. We'll do it again.
Big, expansive outfield, and with a 3-2 count, Adrian getting a chance to be underway. He has a chance, even with his wheels, with 2 outs, to score on a double here in these gaps. They're so big.
Wheels or lack thereof.
Well, we saw Chase Utley try.
That's true.
And it was bang, bang.
Crawford lines one inside a third, a base hit down the line. Turner's in. On his way to second with an RBI double is Crawford. And it's 2-0 Dodgers.
Oh, Carl Crawford does a great job right here, hitting the ball where it's pitched and scoots it right down the line. Just kind of shooting it over there. Cashner, you know, at 96, 95 miles an hour, and his off-speed stuff really not dominant right now. So you can look for the heater and just try and barrel it up, and that's what he does. And Carl scoots over there to second base too, because Blash in left field just kind of nonchalantly threw the ball into third with no chance to get Adrian Gonzalez. Didn't keep the next possible runner in scoring position to first base.
Nomar, this seems like at-bat after at-bat textbook from these guys.
Yeah, the one interesting thing about Andrew Cashner, and if, you know, watching him, we talked about the velocity, how it ranked 5th last year as far as average velocity in this fastball. But it seems like a lot of batters have a tendency to look like they're comfortable still facing it. You know, one thing is to have the velocity and kind of go, gosh, I got to catch up to that. You're out in front in different ones. These guys seem to be able to see the ball. We've seen that so far this inning, as you touched on it, Oral, where you're swinging at strikes, laying off close pitches for balls, and they're having, everybody seems to have had so far a pretty good at bat against them.
Jock only 1 for 9 in his career against Cashner. Couple of hits in this series, both coming on opening day. Breaks into the zone for a strike, and it's 0-2. Already, Carlos Villanueva warming in the Padre bullpen.
Adrian Gonzalez can wander way off of third because of the Padre shift, and that's a odd perspective for Cashner on the mound, to have somebody in your peripheral vision actually as you're delivering a ball, and it's actually getting to him a little bit. He's already stepped off and bluffed Adrian back. And even for Jock at the plate as a left-handed hitter.
Seen him, yeah.
Seen him coming
Yeah, you're
there.
right. I mean, if you're a pitcher, Oro, that likes to pitch from the windup, and usually man on third base, and there's even, you know, usually you can if there's, but now this basically forces you to have to pitch from the stretch.
I'm going to go next level with you, Nomar. What I would do is get into my position for my windup right there, let Adrian creep down, and I would step off with my right foot, which is not a balk. Step off and see if he goes. Give him the bait, but step off with the correct foot, not with your left foot as a right-handed pitcher, and just see if he goes.
Trying to go next level on a guy that is a next level thinker.
Exactly. You know what? I'm kind of a poker player at times, and I've always said you cannot set up a dummy.
Yeah.
Okay? They got to be thinking along with you.
You play poker? You don't play any poker, do you?
A little bit here and there. Don't bluff a dummy. But the smart ones?
Look at that lead.
As long as he's not disrupting Jock, because with 2 outs, you want him to be able to hit, especially when you know you're not running with 2 strikes.
Peterson on the ground into center, a base hit. It'll score 2. Gonzalez in, Crawford in, 4-0 Dodgers.
Great at bat by Jock Peterson. 2 strikes, taking the ball right back up the middle, getting a couple of RBIs. He's so fired up as well when he gets to first base. He's clapping. He's excited. We've just talked about all the at-bats so far in this inning. There's Yasiel. Like we talked about both of these guys coming into this season. Are they going to make adjustments? So far, I mean, I know it's only game 3. But so far, we have seen some adjustments. Better job going the other way, staying on the ball.
A.J. Ellis, 8th man to bat in the inning, and takes strike 1 on the 40th pitch of the first inning. And you feel for Andrew Cashner, who's waited an entire offseason to try and put the memories of that bad 2015 behind him. And this is how 2016 begins.
We also talked about last year how that first inning where he had an ERA of over 5 in the first inning. Now, it has carried over so far in this first game.
Carlos Villanueva, who has worked as a starter and a long man in his career. Nice option to have in a situation like this. Kenta might even have to bat here in the first inning.
What a luxury that is for a starting pitcher on the road, that the first thing you do athletically might be hit before you pitch.
Cashner's 1-2 to A.J. Ellis. Ellis slips a fly ball to center for John Jay. And that's the inning. But the Dodgers get 4. There you go, Kenta. Go to the mound with that. Dave Roberts likes it. Jock Peterson with a 2-run single. All Dodgers. Padres team that's still looking for its first run of the year mentally can't enjoy this one bit. And bring this lineup to the plate tonight, presented by Honda. It begins with John Jay for the 3rd consecutive game. Corey Spangenberg bats second. Then the former Dodger Kemp, Myers, Solarte, and Norris in the middle part of the order. Alexi Ramirez looking for his first hit in a Padre uniform. Then Blash, then Cashner against Kenta Maeda, who turns 28 on Monday. Out of Osaka, Japan. Won a couple of Japanese equivalent of the Cy Young Award. Really jumped onto the scene in the World Baseball Classic a couple of years ago, where in 15 innings, Earl, he gave up just 1 run. And big league team said, huh, who is this guy?
Yeah, the big league experience not only helped the scouts, but it helped Kenta know that he can do this over here. I think he brought that confidence into spring training, and not only the ability on the mound to locate all his pitches, but this guy was an innings eater over in Japan. I mean, we're talking 1 year he had 28 starts and pitched 215 2/3 innings. That's almost averaging 7 2/3 innings a start. So not only have the Dodgers sustained some injuries to the starting rotation, and he was an insurance policy that he signed in January, but this guy really could fill a huge hole in this Dodger rotation.
Kenta Maeda's big league debut begins with John Jay taking ball 1. Jay 1 for 4 last night. 2 hits in this series. He's the only Padre that has multiple hits over the first 2 games. Last night they had only 2 base runners, both infield singles. Didn't put a runner past first. Maeda trying to find the zone, coming home with a 2-0 pitch. Strike 1.
The first question people ask after your team gets 4 runs and you sit in the dugout and watch that, you end up in the on-deck circle. Does the delay hurt you? And I think it hurts you almost the worst in the first inning. As you came out of the bullpen, you've walked completely across the field. You've had to time it up with the opposing team. Cashner took the mound a little bit late, about a minute late or so. And then you sit there and you're happy for all the runs, but you haven't had a ball in your hand for a long time, and you're not really into the rhythm of the game yet. So it almost feels like a fresh start. Good to see him get right back in there after the 2-0 count and get those strikes.
Here he comes with the 2-2. Softly hit. Chase Utley. 1 out. Yeah, to your point, Oral, you know, you throw your warm-up pitches and then you come into the dugout thinking a few minutes later you're going to then take them out and start the game. It was about 25 minutes after he finished his warm-up pitches that he finally did take them out.
Yeah, mid-game, 3rd inning, 4th inning, 6th inning, you go, wow, it's great. I got the rest, and wow, I'm energized because my team got me some runs, and now I've got either a big lead or we've caught up or now we're ahead. But first pitch of the game, have that delay, it's a little tougher.
Spangenberg looks at a strike.
When do the nerves wear off, Oral? Is it the first pitch or is it after the first batter?
I liked, for me, after the first out.
Gotcha.
I think everybody's different.
Into the hands, popped him up. Foul ground, Turner, 2 up, 2 down. Wearing that number 18 that was worn by Hiroki Kuroda, who he was teammates with for the Hiroshima Carp last year in Japan. The 8th Japanese-born player in Los Angeles Dodgers history. One of those 8 is Dodgers manager Dave Roberts, born to a military family in Japan. Trying to execute a 1-2-3 opening frame. Here's Matt Kemp. And there's strike 1.
At number 18, very significant over in Japan. Always worn by the ace of the staff. And Kenta, of course, 5 out of the last 6 years. Got the Gold Glove for pitchers over there as for his fielding, and then last year was his 2nd Japanese Professional League Cy Young.
Breaking ball lifted in the air to left. Back on it goes Crawford at the wall, makes the play. And finishes a 1-2-3 first inning for Kenta Maeda. It's about 10:40 in the morning Thursday in Japan right now. Having a nice breakfast over there, enjoying Kenta's first inning.
Off here for the Dodgers after getting 4, but I'll tell you what, the fly ball that Mr. Kemp hit, guys, leads me to a conversation I had with him last night walking back to the hotel. I said, you're going to enjoy pitching here in San Diego. It's a lot bigger than the ballparks in Japan. Rescue some long fly balls. That one did, and he said, my fault, hanging curveball. But I'm glad I'm pitching here.
Well, he's working his hardest to learn the English language, but some language is universal, including that look he gave.
He gave a big smile like that when Will interpreted the size of the ballpark here in San Diego. I said, "You're going to really enjoy pitching here." He gave that same kind of smile.
Taking a hack at it, 2-2.
Some pretty good offensive numbers coming over.
Yeah, he wants to show everybody he can hit too.
Well, how about the little meal that he won off of the skipper?
Yeah, so, and there is his interpreter, Will Ayrton. But during spring training, the pitchers were taking batting practice, and Maeda was putting on a show. He's the first out here in the second, hitting homer after homer. Some of the other pitchers started to use his bat, and they started hitting homers as well. So Dave Roberts said, it's the arrow, not the Indian, was the way he put it. Switch bats, he said to Kenta. Grab an American-made bat. I'll give you 5 swings. If you hit one out, I'll take you to dinner. So Kenta grabbed somebody else's bat, and on the first swing, homers. Dinner owed.
Yep.
Back to the top, Chase Utley. Let's check in with Alana Rizzo.
Second batter in this inning, guys. But of course, he leads off the game with that leadoff triple and ends up getting his team 4 runs in the inning because of the leadoff triple. Dave Roberts took great pride in setting the table for the offense. He played 832 games in the big, 638 in the leadoff spot. When he was asked yesterday if he felt that a hitter can set the tone in the leadoff position, he said absolutely. He said the momentum certainly starts with the pitcher. As far as the offense concerned, it's the leadoff guy. He loves the fact that Chase Utley, a professional at bat all the time, will usually get about 4 ABs in a game.
Waits on this 1-1, Alana. Takes it inside.
And he's so right. I mean, it just sets the tone, especially the middle guy, your RBI guys. Usually we talk about 3-4 hitters. If you get that leadoff guy on base, you get a 2-hole guy who can handle the bat, move guys around to set up RBI situations for the 3-hole, 3-4 hit. And then they put pressure on the bases as well, so you can possibly get mistakes from the pitcher.
Nomar, would you want your leadoff guy to see a lot of pitches so you could see the pitcher, or you just want to see the quality of bat?
I just wanted to see the quality at bat. I just wanted to see him try to get on any way he can. I didn't really worry about that. Oh, you have to see pitches so the rest of us can see it. We've already done our studying. We should already know.
Although it certainly doesn't hurt when you wind up having a 7-pitch AB on opening day and doubling, and then a 6-pitch AB and tripling today.
It doesn't matter. Like, I let off one year. When I let off that year, I wasn't taking anything. I wasn't changing my approach. I was swinging, but I guarantee you guys didn't mind. Oh, you didn't see enough pitches when I'm standing on second or another for them to knock me in, right? I mean, they don't care. You just want guys on.
Popped him up here. Cashner making the call and making the catch.
Hey, that's actually, usually you tell the pitcher, get out of the way, let your position player take it. But at the same time, when you have the shift on, it was a smart play right there for the, look at there's the only guy near that. Your third baseman is on the other side on second base. Your shortstop's playing him to pull. It's not easy for a catcher to make that play too as he's going over there. So he calls him off. Smart play.
You could almost see that split second where he remembered that they were in the shift, and oh yeah, the rules are different.
I wish I would have played in this generation. That would be fun.
Well,
I'd love to get over there and catch some pop-ups.
Yeah, but you wouldn't have let him shift behind you.
Yeah,
that's true.
Seager popped out to second his first time. And chops one back to Cashner, who responds to a 43-pitch first inning with a 12-pitch second. Kenta Maeda back to the mound with a 4-0 lead when you come back.
he's done a really, really good job of trying to figure out how to incorporate American baseball, the 5-day rotation, but still like have his game plan, I guess you could say. He just knows exactly what he needs to do to get ready, and the transition's been seamless so far. You know, I don't know what he would say about it, but it just looks he's not having any trouble with it, and I'm excited to see him go tonight.
He worked the 1-2-3 first inning and goes to work against Will Myers. Strike one.
You know, the whole thing moving from pitching once a week to pitching every 5th day, and here you get an off day here and there, but it's just changing your routine, your throwing program, your lifting program, your cardio, all the different things, and then hoping your body can respond to less rest, fewer workouts in between. It's good that you start to adjust right away.
There's that slider, which is considered his best pitch.
Sure is, and he'll change gears with it, and he'll change the way it breaks. He'll put more tilt on it, he'll put more sweep on it, and it seems like he can really spin the ball because his slider has an extra gear to it, that little bit of finish. Scouts will tell you that it's probably the only pitch that he throws that will get graded above average major league. That everything else will be just major league. The fastball movement, the changeup might be graded even slightly below major league average, and the curveball. The fastball accuracy and the slider are the 2 grades that'll be above major league average.
Tightened it up some there for strike 3, the first of his big league career.
Pitch ability to subtract and add. So right there he adds. He turns the slider into a cutter. So this is why Myers takes it, because he expects the break that he saw earlier, but not this time. You get a 3-inch or 2-inch break compared to a 12-inch break.
You know what I also noticed right there? It's funny is he's focused. And his first strikeout, and the guys in the dugout, and so was asking for the ball for that first strikeout. He wasn't gonna throw it in, where some guys recognize that.
Solarte tests the great fielder normally, who throws this one into the seats. And Solarte will get second. I jinxed him. He was a 5-time Gold Glover in Japan. Did a great job to field that ball, but just threw it away.
Fantastic job getting off the mound, the range. And I think right here it's just doing a little too much because it's your first game in the Dodger uniform. He will make that play and make the adjustment the rest of the year. I think this is just a little bit trying too hard at the beginning. Because he got there so fast, he actually had a little time to maybe plant and just gun it.
He had time to get his feet right.
It reminded me of a play you might see a pitcher make in the playoffs, when all of a sudden it's like this game is more important than the regular game.
Now Derek Norris overthrows this one, ball 1. Already the Padres have done something they didn't do last night, that is put a man in scoring position. That was ruled, by the way, a base hit and then an error.
A lot of firsts this inning for Kenta. His first strikeout, giving up his first hit, made his first error.
Padres just hoping for their first run of the series.
The only team in Major League Baseball that hasn't scored a run.
They are now 7 for 65 in this series. They've struck out 22 times. They've taken only 2 walks. The 1-1. Turner. 2 out.
Well, you mentioned those 2 walks. That's all they've taken so far in this series, but I also think that's also a tribute and a pat on the back for the Dodgers pitching staff, so as well. Clayton Kershaw, Kazmir, the bullpen, from what they've done, pounding that strike zone. And also, you know, the offense. The fact that the offense has come up, put some runs up, so they can go out there and focus on pounding that strike zone.
Today is National Walking Day. Been 25 games in the big leagues going in the day, 149 walks, and about 25% of them turned into runs.
Alexi Ramirez. Ellis sets inside. Maeda misses down and in. So that would have been the perfect response when we gave him a hard time for not being in the gym when we were in there today. He should have told us it was National Walking Day, and he was out walking.
Thank you, partners.
Yeah. Yeah, it does you a lot of good now, right?
I think I'm going to be embarrassed into working out pretty soon.
Ramirez on the ground to Utley, and Kenta Maeda pitches around the 1-out single in the air. Still no runs for the Padres in this series. That's 20 straight scoreless executed by Dodger pitching to open the year. Andrew Cashner had 43 pitches in the first inning, responded to that with a 13-pitch 1-2-3 second, and faces Justin Turner, then Gonzalez, then Puig here in the third. Joe Davis with Nomar Garciaparra, Oral Hershiser, and Alana Rizzo here in the series finale between the Dodgers and the Padres. Dodgers have won 8 in a row against San Diego, dating back to last season. The longest streak against the Padres since the 1970s, when they won 16 in a row in 73 and 74. 1 ball and 1 strike on Turner. RBI single his first time, started the scoring against Cashner, brought home Chase Utley, who had started the game with a triple. 2-1 coming. On the edge, 2-2. Strike 3 call. Second punch out for Andrew Cashner. 1 gone here in the third. Be sure to mark your calendar for Wednesday, April 13th. Dodgers and the D-backs at 7:10. First 40,000 fans get the hooded sweatshirt you see there on the screen. That guy kind of looks like John Hartong. Back in our Sportsnet LA studios. For tickets, visit Dodgers.com/promotions. Adrian Gonzalez walked his first time, came in to score on Jock Peterson's 2-out single.
Maybe John Hartung will model the next giveaway.
Yeah.
You know, maybe he'll do that with the blanket with sleeves, or do they give that away? I remember. I don't mean to take it away from you.
I kind of look like Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Was it a Dodger Snuggie?
Yeah,
what they call it.
Yeah, blanket with sleeves.
Blanket with sleeves. I think Snuggie is a patented term.
Yeah. So Just
blanket with sleeves.
There you
It's
go.
not quite as catchy.
We'll put you in charge of naming it.
Well, Snuggy's already taken. I don't know what else does it justice. 2-0 to Adrian. Low. 3 balls and no strikes. '65th pitch of the night for Cashner. And a 4-pitch walk to Gonzalez. Second walk taken by the Dodgers tonight, both of them from Adrian Gonzalez.
Oral. Talked about it at the beginning. We showed Adrian Gonzalez hitting the 3 home runs off of Cashner last year. Does that still weigh in your mind facing someone like Adrian Gonzalez if you're the pitcher?
Sometimes consciously and a lot of times subconsciously.
Sure looks like it. Cashner lost 16 games last year. It was not all his fault. And poor run support, poor defense behind him. Puig with a rocket base hit into left center.
Nice rip by Yasiel Puig. We talked about that's 2 good at bats. I thought it flew out in his first at bat, but it was a good positive at bat flying deep to right field. When you have good swings like that, they usually carry over into your next at bat, and that's right there, and it did, and he crushed that.
Carl Crawford now. 2 on and 1 out. The Dodgers already in front 4-0 here in the 3rd. Ball 1. So coming into today, over the first 2 games, Puig had put 5 balls in play. And the average exit velocity on those 5 balls that he put in play, 105 miles per hour. And all that is the speed of the ball off of the bat. To put that into context, the average last year in the majors, 88.7. Nomar, I know you don't like sabermetrics, advanced stats, but how about something like that that measures something tangible?
Well, it just tells me he hits the ball hard.
Right, but batting average.
And I could tell you he hits the ball hard.
But batting average doesn't do anything other than tell you how often he gets on hits, you know?
A lot of times, what you're using, what are you trying to say? Okay, well, the exit velocity is there, but if you don't make contact, what good is it?
It's no good.
Right. I'm just saying, okay, when you do make contact, you hit it hard. But if you don't make it often, then what good is it?
Is it kind of right up there with Chase Utley's the 13th best base runner, most effective base runner?
Well, one thing about that, we know he's a good base runner, but I guess if you're trying to put that one thing about that, you're putting in context of actually how good he has been as a base runner. That's one thing. But if you're telling me, well, his exit velocity is so good, and we know he hits the ball hard, we can see how far he can hit the ball, we can see how strong he is. That's great. And I just want to see that exit velocity have a lot of
happen more often.
Exactly. so you have a lot of numbers to go off of.
Yeah,
so to create the bigger average. That's all.
Incredibly small sample size. All it is quantifying, how hard he's hit it.
Right.
You notice he's hit the ball hard these couple of days, and that's how hard.
I'm excited by his approach and Jock's approach.
That's
so
exactly
what.
That's what excites me more than that number right there. Is the fact going to right field like we've seen him, and then coming back and driving the ball.
Crawford taps it in play. It will roll foul. He started measuring that exit velocity, at least publishing that exit velocity last year. Part of Major League Baseball StatCast.
So it should be, for me, if I'm looking at, I'd want to see, okay, exit velocity is great. Okay, fine. I'm not saying, no, it's not there. Have that, but also in context of how often they're hitting this compared to your at-bats and maybe the numbers of swings you're going. So let's say, your exit velocity, say 105 that we just shown, but by comparison, he's also making contact X number of times upon swings as well.
So some kind of stat that also doesn't just measure how hard he's hitting it, but a quantitative thing that also talks about how often he's making contact.
Correct.
Combine those two things.
Exactly. Because then oftentimes, then when you talk about average and stuff, things falling in, but you're going, okay, was it just unlucky that year, but he's still squaring everything up and hitting the ball hard, just right at people.
Full count on Crawford. I think what I'm hearing is adjusted exit velocity. And you coined
there you
it.
go. Adjusted exit velocity. Yeah, now we're going to get all these add, flip, vip, sip.
I'm surprised you wanted to take it a step further, because I know that's when you don't like it.
No,
When
you know, there's some of these where I like to separate some of them when they add two numbers together, where I like them individually, and then some of these numbers I can't follow because there's too many things mixed together.
Foul tipped into the mitt. Third strikeout of the game for Cashner. 2 outs in the third.
Somebody right now is creating adjusted exit velocity, probably, as we're talking about it. Or maybe it already exists. I just don't know the acronym or what they use for it.
Well, you know, sip. That's like when the sommelier brings the bottle of wine and
take a sip.
Yeah. Peterson had a 2-run single his first time. After he had fallen behind in the count 0-2, battled back, fought one off into center to cap off that 4-run first.
I don't think Turner Ward wants Yasiel Puig or Jock Peterson to turn into Howie Kendrick, where Howie has that inside approach like a Derek Jeter. Every single swing, it's like they very rarely would want to turn on a ball. But the fact that 2 out of 4 at bats, 3 out of 5 at bats, they're staying inside it with the proper swing. Then when they end up coming over top of one or pulling it out of the stadium for a home run, they get right back into that pattern. They're hitting the fastball to one side of the field. Maybe they're hitting the off-speed stuff up the middle or to the other side of the field.
And we talk about going the other way. It's not about just, oh, you have to hit the ball all the time the other way. That's not what it's about, because it's also how you're hitting it. Do you want it just a flare over there, or are you driving it the other way? But when you have that approach, as it more consistently than not, the swing path to the ball happens to be more consistent rather than you pulling off of the ball. And that's really what it's about for these guys.
Tails back over the inside corner for strike 3. Peterson doesn't like it. I think he was more upset with the strike 2 call, and that one that rung him up. Kenta Maeda trying to be next in line in some fantastic Dodger Japanese debuts. Go back to 1995, Hideo Nomo, 5 1-hit shutout innings in San Francisco. 14 years ago today, Kazishi, 10 strikeouts over 5 2/3 shutout frames in his debut at Coors Field. And then in 2008, Maeda's teammate last year in Japan, Hiroki Kuroda, 1 run over 7 innings in this ballpark. 2 shutout frames tonight for Maeda. Only 1 base hit. Jabari Blash taking ball 1. His first big league start tonight. Had one pinch hit appearance, one pinch hit at bat. Also walked.
I see Jabari Blash. I saw him take batting practice. I've seen the size of Jabari Blash, and I guarantee you he has a very high exit velocity.
Yeah.
I don't need to see it, but I guarantee you it's big.
Well, if he hits the ball in the regular season where he hits it during BP, the L will become silent in his last name. It'll just be Jabari Bash.
Yeah.
He has light tower power like that man did.
But he also swings and misses a lot. That's that slider. One away in the third. Let's check in with Alana.
Guys, Dave Roberts was born in Naha, Okinawa, Japan, so he is of Japanese descent. Naturally, he and Kenta Maeda share that common bond. At the beginning of spring training, Kenta Maeda presented his manager with a form of Japanese cookies that Dave Roberts used to eat as he was growing up as a child. In return, Dave Roberts gave him a baseball. Seems a little funny, you may say, but it's a different size baseball in the major leagues than it is in Japan, what Kenta Maeda is used to. Or maybe you can explain how that would differ as far as getting used to that, as far as his grip. He took it home and wanted to make sure he got used to that baseball because that's what he's going to be throwing here.
The ball over here in the United States is a little larger and the seams aren't quite as high. And the ball in Japan, the cowhide part of it's a little smaller. It seems smaller and it makes the seams seem higher. A little bit more like the college baseball that is a little smaller and the seams are a little higher. And sometimes going to the Japanese ball or the college ball, I think big league pitchers would have more trouble because of the seams kind of carving up their fingers. But this would make it, the ball, when a larger ball feels large in your hand, it makes you feel like you don't get the same amount of wrist action. Might even tighten up your elbow muscles because when you put something larger in your hand, it feels maybe heavier. You want to engage more muscles to kind of keep it in your hand. And so one of the things you need to learn is just how to continue to relax your hand and get that to be able to spin the ball.
He's a bouncer for Turner.
I mean, and that's also, I mean, also for your feel, for your breaking ball when you're utilizing the seams. I mean, you hear that a lot of guys who actually make the transition even from the minor leagues up to the big leagues, where the ball or the seams seem to be smaller in the major league ball compared to the minor league ball. And I've heard pitchers say, I had to adjust and learn, you know, how to throw with those type of seams to get more of a spin. And they're even talking about adjusting the college baseball. We talked about how they changed the bats and the home runs have gone down. Right. They're also looking to change in the baseball. Instead of, they're thinking that because of the higher seams, because of the wind resistance, it doesn't travel quite as far. So maybe to offset, not get more juice in the bats, but to allow the ball to carry a little bit more.
Second time through, John Jay swings through a changeup, 1 ball and 1 strike.
If you're a young pitcher out there, or a college pitcher, even a high school pitcher, you got a ball that doesn't feel like it has seams, just take your fingernail and scratch the red seam just a little bit, not marring the ball, not damaging the ball, but when you scratch it with your fingernail, just the microscopic little rips that you put on that give your fingers a feel of like the seam is higher. And it's really not that the seam's higher, it's just there's more tactile, you know, it's just more feel, and it feels like the seam's higher and it's easier to throw.
Jam shot, Justin Turner, 1-2-3. Go the Padres in the third. The Dodgers are now 2 innings away from matching a franchise record for consecutive scoreless innings to open a season. Sportsnet LA is brought to you by the Dodge Challenger. Test drive one at your local Dodge dealer today. And by Carl's Jr., the Midnight Moonshine Burger with moonshine glaze and garlic pepper onion straws, only at Carl's Jr. Back in San Diego, A.J. Ellis leading things off for the Dodgers, up 4-0. Andrew Kashner has settled in after a laborious first inning. Ellis goes after the first one, knocked down by Alexi Ramirez for the first out. Still, though, 79 pitches into this outing for Kashner.
A little different than Kenta Maeda, who's thrown 34 and 24 for strikes. A little efficiency difference there as number 18 grabs a little rosin coming up to the plate.
Chase Utley told him take your time, and then there was that little momentary Little League jog towards the plate.
And another smile.
Yeah.
And he just pointed and he looked at Kashner. I was going like my fault because he didn't have his batting gloves on, wasn't ready. So like, sorry. I had that as a nightmare. Like where I'm going, I don't have my batting glove. I'm not ready to go hit. And they're like waiting on you. And you know, with me, with my batting gloves, oh my goodness, oh wow, that would be real. Of course, it's a nightmare.
The worst nightmare still is
just for me, you know.
Well, the worst nightmare still is the one where you go to school and they're having a test and you didn't know.
I don't know that I've had that one.
Oh, my wife has. She's a school teacher, and she had that she still has it all the time.
Maeda hits a high fly ball to deep left field. Kenta Maeda has arrived with a home run. Is this real life? This feels like a dream.
I tell you, it's always I always thought it was a sign that your teammates love you and like you when they give you this silent treatment. And we've seen Kenta, just that smile from ear to ear when he walked into spring training, putting on that Dodger uniform.
A.J. Ellis grounds out on the first pitch. He's late to the on-deck circle. Chase Utley says, wait, don't worry about it. Take your time. He runs up there. He apologizes to Andrew Kashner for not having his batting gloves and is late. He takes a first pitch strike, and then he just deposits a slider in the left field bleachers.
I don't know if he was going to apologize for that one.
That was more rude than being late to the plate. Look at that smile.
Look at that.
Dave Roberts owes him another dinner.
Yeah. Chase Utley. So the first home run of the year in a pitcher-friendly park comes from Kenta Maeda.
Dodgers hit 187 last year, and one of the most amazing things was how we had scored so many runs in the last couple days and hadn't had a home run.
Way to destroy that one, Kenta.
Yeah, there goes that story.
There you go.
And we're sitting here talking about the dreams we have, and then it's like I'm ready to wake up from that weird dream.
Tremendous. You gave it first strikeout, first hit, first error, and first home run.
It's an Andrew Kashner nightmare.
Oh, you're right. So before he allows a run as a big leaguer, he hits a home run.
And you got to break down the swing, Nomar, with the leg kick. I mean, you don't see many pitchers have the leg kick.
Yeah, but that's also something very traditional over there in Japan. Right. The leg kick, where the hands are. And that's something to look up, right? How many big leaguers have actually scored a run before they've actually given up a run in the major leagues.
I wonder if it's ever happened.
That might. It's
just throwing it out there.
It's a small fraternity if there is another member.
Utley with a big swing, fooled John Jay, who recovered to make the play. All right, break this swing down for me, Nomar.
Well, first of all, you got to show up there late to the batter's box and then put your gloves on. But there, he gets a ball up. He just stays on it nicely. Nice swing. It wasn't a really big leg kick. Keeps his head right on the ball. It was a perfect swing, and he crushes it. And look at the excitement in that dugout.
By the way, in his Japanese career, 2 home runs. One as a 20-year-old rookie in 2008, and one last year. Oh, one to Corey Seager.
Did you say just 2? Is that what you said, Joe? I mean, it's hard to believe after seeing that swing. And then also we talked about winning dinners from
Dave
Doc
Roberts,
because of the home run contest and hitting home runs at BP.
Seager down on a fastball, and the inning is over. Kenta Maeda. We talked about some of the fantastic Japanese pitcher debuts in Dodger history. None of them did that. Solo shot. Gonzo flex it. So reading as much Dodger history as I can, and I think today I just saw first person, the first new page added to those books. Everybody's always going to talk about Kenta Maeda. No matter what happens from here on out, the guy that came in and in his big league debut from Japan, he homers before he gives up a run. You remember that day in San Diego? Corey Spangenberg leads off this inning by taking ball 1.
When he got the ball for his first strikeout, they got to be able to go get his first ball for his first hit.
Yeah.
And his first home run.
Well, 2 Cy Youngs over in Japan, 5 Gold Gloves in the last 6 years, and 2 baseballs from here in the U.S. with the Dodgers so far. Trophy case is filling up.
course, Clayton Kershaw, 1 career home run. Spangenberg back to Maeda. This time he's on the money at first. Guarantee your tickets to opening day with the 2016 Dodger Mini Plan. You can choose from great promotional games featuring bobbleheads and retired number pins. Visit Dodgers.com/mini-plans. Kershaw's lone home run. Opening day a few years ago against San Francisco. Broke a 0-0 tie in the 8th inning. Here's Matt Kemp. Strike 1. Maeda got away with a hanger against Kemp his first time. That breaking ball up. Kemp hammered it to left, but doesn't quite have Maeda's strength, so it didn't go.
Maeda had some good exit velocity on that one.
He did. Yeah. Launch angle was pretty good.
Goes two-seamer away. He goes slider/cutter right there. Threw it harder, shortened the break. Pitchability. Really has a real good feel on how to get the next pitch in the right place with the right break.
We've seen him overthrow a few times tonight, guide it.
A little bit here and there, and you know what, I'm not sure that would be the emotional equivalent of what he's doing as much as it just gets out of sync a little bit with his mechanics and it makes it look like that, because he looks very poised, like he has got a very good mental rhythm.
Oof. Moved about 1.5 feet in the hands of Kemp.
Well, we've seen the sequence here against Matt Kemp, and Matt's kind of shaking his head too, probably because he's got the ball moving in different directions. He's got the speed changing by 10-12 miles an hour. He's varying the break on the slider, going from a tailing fastball to a cut fastball.
Slider poked the other way. Nice piece of hitting by Matt Kemp. Drops it into right field for a 1-out single.
And that was really good hitting, because like you touched on, Oral, when you come up as a hitter and you're facing a pitcher that won in your last at bat, hung you a breaking ball, and you're thinking, I'm probably not going to get that curveball again, and he's throwing you sliders and cutters off the plate, and then he comes up and in with a two-seamer that jams you, but you're able to fight it off, and then he goes back with the two-seamer that you swung and missed before, and you're able to poke it out there for a base hit. That's a really, really good at bat by Matt Kemp.
Bill Myers. The first strikeout victim of Maeda's big league career. Took strike 3 called to start the second. And 1 for 8 in this season opening series.
The one thing A.J. Ellis has told me, and some of the other people around Dodger management, is how well Kenta has really been able to study the extra level of information that he gets over here compared to what's going on over in Japan. with all the information and the scouting reports that Rick Honeycutt and AJ kind of get a game plan. And that was one of the things that impressed everyone in spring training, because they wanted to get him used to the game plans and used to understanding where they want the ball with certain hitters. So they went right into it in spring training and having game plans to attack hitters. And not only can he locate the ball, but he can follow the game plan.
Two and two on Will Myers with Kemp at first and one away. Breaking ball lined into left. That's a base hit. Kemp making the turn. Throw goes into second, and the Padres are at the corners with one away.
It's a good job by Carl Crawford getting that ball, getting to that ball and getting it to second base and keeping Will Myers to a single. Yeah. You got Matt Kemp going all the way from first to third on that. We actually saw that from San Diego's left fielder with Lash going to third base, but with one out, he's able to keep the double play in order.
A couple of up-breaking balls that have allowed the Padre hitters to hit the ball in the air to the outfield grass. Ball slider up to Matt Kemp. That's a good piece of hitting, but Kent will tell you he wanted to get it down farther, and that curve ball right there that Myers hit was a little up.
Now Hervis Solarte, who singled his first time, takes ball one. Padres trying to get on the board in the 22nd inning of this series. Getting outscored by the Dodgers right now, 23-0. Andy Green looking for his first run as a manager. Solarte bounces one to first. Gonzalez will tag Solarte, and back to third goes Kemp. Up to second goes Myers. Two away.
A smart play by Adrian Gonzalez. And that ball is not a double play ball because he has to come charge this ball, but he also recognizes the play in front of him, thinking, okay, if Matt Kemp takes off, he's got to play at home plate to get that runner. But it's not a double play ball. You see him there. All right, I can just tag him and also still keep my eye on the runner at third base.
Second and third, two out. Derek Norris. Six hitter for the Padres tonight is 0 for 1 with a ground out to third. Ball one. Kemp and Myers both with singles. Norris without a hit in this series. Waiting on this 1-0 from Maeda. Just misses.
This is a great pitcher's pitch. You're up 5-0. It's a 1-0 count, and I'm gonna make a really good fastball on the way. He did. The great thing about Maeda, as we've seen, is he makes his mistakes in the right area. Just off the plate and the edges of the plate. He doesn't make mistakes towards the middle.
Shot to first. Gonzalez has it. Feeds Maeda, and the inning is over, and the streak is alive. Some emotion from Kenta. 22 consecutive shutout frames to open the season for the Dodgers. One short of matching a franchise record to begin the season. Baseball on Sportsnet LA is brought to you by your Southern California Toyota dealers. Get huge cash back on a new Camry or a Corolla at Toyota's Axe the Tax sales event. Andrew Cashner's night is finished. He allows 5 runs, all of them earned on 6 hits over 4 innings. Got off on the wrong foot, throwing 43 pitches during a 4-run first. And Ryan Buchter comes into the game to face off with 3, 4, and 5 in the Dodger order. This is a guy that was a Dodger minor leaguer for a short time last year. Spent spring training with the Dodgers and then the first half of last season in AAA Oklahoma City. Put up really good numbers. Then went to the Cubs for the end of the season. Making his Padres debut this year. Turner's 1 for 2 tonight. Singled and scored in the first. And took strike 3 called from Cashner in the third.
Big swing right there from Justin. Kind of lift and separate. Very good at understanding what he wants to do with a certain pitcher. Here, a left-hander. Doesn't throw as hard as Cashner. Feels very comfortable in opening up his swing. That one was almost as hard as Cashner threw.
That one too, 94. We see Cashner hit 96 tonight.
Yes, we did.
Yeah.
That's a sick feeling to sit over there. I've sat over there many a day after getting beat up out there and having an outing you don't want to have, and now you know you got to wait 4 or 5 days to get back out there.
Especially when you've been waiting an entire offseason for this particular game.
Yeah, it's a great seat tomorrow. If you've had a great outing, get a W, your team's there, you got the best seat in the house, you're feeling awesome in the dugout, you've had your workout, now you're watching the next day's game. It's like this is the big league life. But right now, you're making the payment for the tough outing.
Justin Turner leading off this 5th inning for the Dodgers by striking out. Gonzalez walked both times against Cashner. You guys noted his past history may have weighed into that. Homered 3 times in one game against Cashner last year. Buchter doesn't have that, conscious or subconscious, yet against Gonzalez.
Let's Buchter. This is his first opening day roster he's made. He's only had one appearance other than on opening day. His appearance he had prior to that, he's only had one big league appearance. So you're not even worried about what he's done or whatever. You're going, I'm trying to get him out and I want to stay here in the big leagues.
One big league appearance for him came in 2014 with the Braves. Been all over the place. Nationals to the Cubs to the Braves to the Dodgers, back to the Cubs. Now the Padres. Now the 2-0. High strike.
See that foul out by Adrian Gonzalez. We know how he hits, but we're also talking about the scoreless streak the Dodgers are on so far, and a big part is this play by Adrian Gonzalez. What was impressive is how quick he gave that to Kenta Maeda. Maeda appreciates the great play, recognizing that, but getting it to him so he can catch it and then find the bag. Nice play all around, and Kenta appreciates it.
And so that scoreless inning streak to start the season, guys, is now at 22. The Dodger record to start a season, 23 consecutive scoreless innings. That was in 1974, and it was against the Padres. 1 inning short of it right now. Third walk of the night for Adrian Gonzalez. Don Sutton, Tommy John, both complete game shutouts during that stretch. Andy Messersmith went the distance in game 3, but gave up a couple of runs to snap that 23 inning streak. And then the next days after the streak was snapped in Atlanta, Hank Aaron hit .715 against Al Downing. That was a team that would go on to win more than 100 games and win the National League pennant. Yasiel Puig 1 for 2 tonight. Chops one to the left side, base hit. His second hit of the game, 5th of the series, and they're at first and second with 1 away.
Yasiel continues to look comfortable in the box, swinging the bat really well, using all parts of the field. This time finds the hole between short and third. But you know what? It's a fastball that wanted to be in the inner half. It ended up there, and Yasiel just kind of hits it where it's pitched, and he hits it firmly. Couple hopper through the hole. You know what I like is he's not changing his stance or experimenting. He's getting in the box. Seems like he's comfortable with where he's at and his approach right now. Seems to be showing when he goes to launch the bat.
Carl Crawford 1 for 2. Plays off the slider, ball 1. I think we're seeing a lot of guys that are putting together good at bats. A lot of guys putting up gaudy numbers over the first few games. But Puig in particular, the way that this lineup swings one way or another based off of the way he performs is larger probably than any other piece of the lineup.
Well, because we know the potential and the ability that Yasiel Puig has, and we've also seen where at times it can kind of snowball out of it and he gets out of rhythm, and they've exploited the holes that they have found in his swing. So coming into this season, a lot of talk, is this a make or break season for Yasiel Puig? And I know Turner Ward, he's been working with Turner Ward, and he's been recognizing that, okay, we got to make adjustments in his swing. Yasiel Puig is knowing he has to make adjustment in his game and his swing. He's even adjusted his body to try to minimize the injury. So all so far are going in a positive direction.
Crawford hits a soft roller to second. Spangenberg can't make the tag, but does get Crawford. Runners each advance, 2 gone.
Yasiel, his speed and his tools play everywhere. Being able to get off first base there, miss that tag. If he's a half a step slower, it's a double play. But this inning continues because of his wheels.
Jock 1 for 2. 2-run single and a really nice at bat in the first inning. And then was unhappy with the strike zone from Jim Wolf in a 3rd inning strikeout. Wasn't as much strike 3 that bothered him as it was strike 2. He thought was off of the outside part. Second and third with 2 away, and Buchter to Peterson with ball 1.
Now that was a really good at bat by Jock Peterson in that first inning, because here he's finding the same situation, man, on second and third with 2 outs. So it's a big, got 2 RBIs, big 2 out, 2 RBIs. And he was trying to hit those 2 guys in and himself on that swing. Which, you know, I don't mind when you're looking at the count. It's a 1-0 count. All right, go ahead. 2 outs. Let it fly. This, all right, now it's about going, okay, now you start kind of tapering back once you get that strike. Okay, let's get a pitch that I know I can driving the gap. I don't have to hit it out of the ballpark.
Went deep 26 times last year. In his rookie campaign, nice stop by Norris to keep Gonzalez put.
I'm not sure Norris caught the ball or the ball caught him right there.
Yeah.
You get out there, get in the right position, but when this ball bounces up and actually is caught, you see Norris even flinches a little bit. The breaking ball spin sometimes has it kick back towards the catcher. If it hits a soft spot, it can skid away from you. So you're just getting as much of your body and glove in front of as you can.
2-2. Just outside. Full count on Peterson.
Had it just outside, and it was. He's got a slider that looks like one down the middle. It can break off the plate. It's going to be tough on Jock.
That's what he went with.
Good job fighting that one off.
Sure is.
And you know, we keep talking about going the other way. When you have that approach going to that, it keeps you on that one. Where if you're thinking about pulling, you pull off of that and you miss, you swing and miss right through that one.
They set away again. This time they got him. Caught guessing wrong. Leads runners at second and third. Kenta Maeda back to the mound with a chance to help the Dodgers match a record 42 years in the making. Fourth on a Maeda home run. As we go to the bottom of the fifth, the Dodgers approaching a record set 42 years ago when they began the season with 23 consecutive scoreless innings against the Padres. Between innings, this is Maeda talking with A.J. Ellis through his interpreter, Will Ireton. Really fascinating stuff to watch. These guys interact through Will. Goes everywhere with Kenta.
When you have the pitch ability that Kenta has, that means not only can you locate the ball, but you can add and subtract. And add and subtract comes off of a pitch, like when he adds his track with the slider, throws it harder, shorter break, throws it slower, bigger break.
Hard hit, Justin Turner. One out.
And as a pitcher that really hasn't left the bench in between innings, he's not going down in the tunnel to look at the television to see exactly where the pitches are that he gives up hits on, like to Myers or to Matt Kemp. So he's asking AJ, like, where was that pitch? Because your eyes are moving out there in the mound. You're competing, you're landing, you're driving the ball to home plate, and what your eyes see as a location of the pitch is sometimes not exactly where it is. And getting that information when you're the type of pitcher he is, which relies on accuracy, changing speeds, and making pitches, he wants that information.
Got Blash to trace the slider. First time Blash came up. One of 2 strikeouts for him. This is away with a fastball, 1-0. Working quickly. Oh, strike one.
And the other thing too is him being in that dugout next to AJ. We know AJ's just a wealth of knowledge, but also talking about, okay, the next time or the next approach, or here's what I was looking for and why. So it's always a learning process.
And he has Blash on his heels right now, 1-2. Full bag of tricks to choose from here. Got him with a slider the first time. They're coming in here. And a fastball fouled back.
And Nomar, you've done radio interviews where you've had to have Jaime Herrin, on the Spanish side of the Dodger network, do the interpretation for you after you give your quote, and then he asks you a question in English, and then he, translates. It's hard. When you have to use a translator in between, you get less information, you get less security in the information because you don't get the inflection, you don't get the facial expressions in time.
Blash able to hook this slider wide of third, foul.
So it's a different level of information, even having an interpreter, I think. And there's a little bit of a strain there on what you're receiving.
So there's a lot of pressure on Will Ireton to get it right, then is what you're saying.
Yeah,
and it's true. There is.
And Will can make mound visits.
Right.
With Dave Roberts, Rick Honeycutt.
And you know who could really comment on this? Alana. Because Alana has to do these interviews with our Spanish-speaking players and at post-game and pre-game. And she knows how that interpretation can sometimes vary. And it's up to her how she communicates to the players.
Sure.
You're open.
Blash shoots one to second. Chase Utley. 2 out.
And guys, oftentimes it's more of just listening to what the player is saying and then trying to efficiently and concisely repeat what he's saying. Yasiel Puig, when I first started covering this team full time, would really go on and on and on as far as his answers were concerned, because he didn't necessarily understand what we were looking for too. And through working with him over the course of the last couple of years, he understands now exactly, how to get to the point more efficiently, more effectively, kind of what it is that he wants to say. He certainly understands English a lot better than he lets on, but it's certainly a process. So I understand what Will's going through, and it's a tremendous asset for Will to be able to do that for Kenta.
And Alana, numbers are international, and right now the numbers tell you that the Dodgers are 1 out away from matching that franchise record. 23 consecutive scoreless innings to begin a season. Travis Jankowski up there trying to break that up. Pinch hitting in the 9 spot. Hacked foul, 2-1. 1974, which was in the middle of that 16-game run for the Dodgers without a loss against the Padres. They started the season with those 23 consecutive scoreless innings. 2-1. Strike 2. Now, it's a little thing, but it sure is a neat thing. And what would be a really impressive accomplishment for Dodger pitching. They can finish this thing off right here.
It's something to be proud of, to go from through the bullpen that hasn't given up a run, through your top 2 starting pitchers. One being the best pitcher on the planet.
Yeah, and then Kazmir, and then Maeda, and there it is. 23 consecutive shutout innings for the Dodgers, matching the 1974 team for the best run to begin a season. Season goes Carlos Villanueva, entering a 5-0 game with the Dodgers in front. He's the third Padres pitcher of the game. Former Brewer, former Blue Jay, former Cub, former Cardinal, now making his Padres debut.
You know, when you come to a new club like Kenta is today and shining, you just want to impress right away. You want to do it because it makes you feel like part of the team. If you start out rough like Chris Hatcher did last year, you know, it's really hard to get connected emotionally to everybody. And if the first communication with people is encouraging you, it just doesn't feel right. You want to feel like you fill a hole and you're part of the team.
You want to feel like you're helping out,
contributing.
Yeah, and you feel like you're not. Feel like you're on an island.
It's real close to feeling like you're on the DL.
Yeah, right.
Until you do something good.
Ellis is 0 for 2 tonight. And hits a fly ball to left center for Jabari Blast. They had him positioned well for the first out. Here comes Babe Maeda. Solo home run his last time up. As we look at our Cardinals cam replay, he was late getting to the plate. Apologize, my bad. I'll hurry up and get in here. And homer off of you.
I wonder if he was apologizing. Hey, I'm apologize now. I'm about to hit a home run off you.
Yeah. And he gets the silent treatment and then a lot of hugs.
And then show it. Adrian saying, yeah, he's got some muscles.
It was off of Andrew Kashner. He is matching what some of those Japanese predecessors did in a Dodger uniform in their debut on the mound. Nomo and Ishii and Kuroda were all splendid in their first Dodger outing. Line to first, caught by Myers. Nomo had 5 1-hit shutout innings at San Francisco in his debut in 1995. On this day 14 years ago, Kaz Ishii struck out 10 over 5 2/3 in his big league debut at Coors Field. Not an easy place to do that. And then in 2008, Kuroda 1 run over 7 innings in this ballpark. None of them homered though in their debut. Kuroda and Kashi Saito never did homer. Ishii homered once in his Dodger career. Came in this ballpark Hideo Nomo hit 4 bombs during his career. And if Kenta Maeda makes it, say, 30 starts this year, he's on pace for about 30 home run season at this point. Chase Utley shoots one the other way against the shift. Ramirez is there. The inning is over. Well, the Dodgers have matched the franchise record for consecutive scoreless innings to begin a season. Kenta tries to help them set a new record. Sixth inning of work with the Dodgers in front 5-0, trying to open the season with a sweep of the Padres and trying to set a franchise record for the most consecutive scoreless innings to start a season. They've already matched the 1974 team. They can break that record with a scoreless inning here, but they'll have to work against the top of the San Diego order. Maeda with more home runs himself than the Padres have runs in this series. Strike one to John Jay. He's 0 for 2 tonight. 2 for 10 in this series. Ball one. So Maeda homered in his second major league at bat. Back in the early 50s, Hoyt Wilhelm of the Giants homered in his first at bat and then never hit another home run in his career in 432 career at bats. Hopefully Kenta's got a few more coming to his career, but a cautionary tale from 1952.
But he can say he's hit a home run, though.
That's right.
I can't.
Neither can I.
But Joe, I played.
You have a silver slugger, though.
Like you have a silver slugger.
Yeah.
I only swung for a home run about 5 times in my whole big league career.
Swung for it.
Yeah, I just didn't really try to hit him. Just try to make contact.
Broke Jay's bat on a floater to center that will drop in for a base hit.
Well, the ball that Matt Kemp hit for a hit was a slider up that he kind of just poked to right field. Good piece of hitting. Will Myers hit a curveball. He hit it pretty hard. And this ball, a little bit of a cutter, breaks the bat and just falls in the DMV.
It's just unfortunate for Maeda. That was just good placement for John Jay right there.
Yeah.
You know, as you see, those are the balls that you also worry about from your defense. Corey Seager going out, going out for that. Jock Peterson coming in hard. That you don't want to see a collision. You want to see the play made, hopefully, but at least you don't want to see a collision.
Padres now 10 for 80 in this series. Corey Spangenberg comes up with Turner on the grass at third. Yimi Garcia warming in the Dodger bullpen. We saw Scott Kazmir come out after 75 pitches in 6 innings last night. Here's pitch number 75 for Maeda. And it's shot to short. Seager the backhand to second. No. Utley drops it.
Utley's wanting them to have a look at that to see if it was more on the exchange and simply just dropping it. There was a great play by Corey Seager to get to that ball, and it was a great feed. As we have another look to see if he caught it, and it was more after he caught it in the exchange. So there, no, that's not a catch. That's just he just dropped it. Oh wait, he's actually thinking he got back to the bag. He's not worried about the drop. He's actually thinking he got back to the bag before John Jay reaches it.
Oh.
Yeah, and he does. So he does. It looks like he does get the bag from that angle. He might have gotten to the bag. There it is right there. That he's actually touching the bag with the ball before that toe hits. Good job good heads up by Chase Utley there, and also recognizing, hey, have a look at that. I know he's mad at himself, first of all, for just not catching the ball.
Well, the feed from Seager a little high, and he just got on the heel of the glove. But you're right, the reaction to stay with it and not be disappointed but keep playing. That moment in time of not giving up allowed him to make that play.
And that didn't take long. San Diego to New York. New York back to San Diego, and John Jay back to the dugout. 1 out.
Force out 6 to 4 to 4.
I like it. We're learning all these new little scoring tricks this week. Laurel teaching us how to score a ground ball against the shift. And now you've learned how to score it when the second baseman drops the transfer, picks it up, tags the bag, and gets the force. Matt Kemp, 1 for 2. Couple of pretty good at-bats against Maeda. Hammered a hanging breaking ball his first time. It was caught on the track. And then saw a lot of pitches in his second at-bat before flipping a base hit to the opposite field.
Kent has made a couple of mistakes to Matt Kemp. That fastball right there, Matt thinks he let one get by. Hanging breaking ball that he crushed, like you said, Joe. First at bat, the base hit was a high breaking ball off the plate that Matt gave a good piece of hitting, and that first pitch fastball was center cut that Matt fouled back. To a quality hitter, you're going to have to zone in now, make some good pitches.
Hard hit, base hit into center. Spangenberg first to third, and the Padres at the corners with 1 out.
The good ones are going to get their hits. It's just keeping the guys on in front of them or getting the guys out behind them.
Rick Honeycutt, Dave Roberts. Rick, the only returning member of this coaching staff. New faces all over the place. The same pitching coach the Dodgers have had now for the last 4 managers. And here he comes with translator Will Ireton. Will's first big league mound visit.
And it could be a visit to find out how he feels, and Rick might have permission to change the pitcher if he gets the wrong answer.
And there's the clock. 30 seconds is all they get for this mound visit.
Should get an extra 10-12 seconds with an interpreter.
Yeah, right.
Buzzer sounds. Part of Major League Baseball's pace of play initiatives, which have done really good things for the game and couple of years they've had him in place under Rob Manfred. He's a new commissioner.
You got to really capsulize your thoughts now as a pitching coach.
High fives for Will.
They didn't give him the silent treatment like they gave Kenta for a home run. A little blood rush there to the face, a little embarrassed.
Will Myers. Cue shot. Gonzalez coming home. Ellis tag play. They got him. Spangenberg cut down at the plate, 2 away.
And they're kind of holding up the batter. They're going to have a look at this to see if that foot actually got in there before the tag. And Spangenberg, as we have another look, did he actually get it in there? It's pretty close. I know he kicks Ellis's leg, but he might have snuck that in there.
What we've noticed sometimes on replays here is the runner's foot in the air. It might cross the plate, but who knows if it's down on the plate. I've seen it called both ways.
You know, they have a big screen here at Petco Park, and you hear the fans. They believe his foot is in there before the tag, and his foot is down, so it's not up. So I think they're going to turn this.
Yeah, you see a lot of runners as they come in, they're afraid to hook their cleat on the home plate and hurt their knee, but he's got his foot down consistently through the dirt and looks like onto the plate.
Saw that angle right there. For me, looked like he did get that foot in there.
One of those things where before replay the ball beat him home, so you're going to get the call, but in this day and age, go to replay and ball beating you doesn't do the trick anymore.
So I was just thinking, I know they got a clock on the pitching coach or the mound visit, so no clock on this, but it's all about getting it right. There it is right there.
I think the only call they can look at in New York is the foot down on the plate, because clearly the tag is after the foot is over home plate.
I think he does get his hand or forearm before he gets the leg, but I think that still comes after the foot crosses the plate.
Everything we save in time, as far as with all the other rules, we give back with replay.
You know, they just keep showing it over and over again here in San Diego on the big screen.
Crowd wants a reason to cheer. This will be the first run of the season for the Padres. At this point, they're thinking, geez, can we catch a break? Give us one. He's out.
I cannot predict with what they're going to decide. I guess it wasn't clear and convincing.
I mean, usually the three are confirmed, overturned, or stands.
Right.
And usually the way that interprets is overturn, obviously. They can tell that they should overturn it. Confirm, just confirming that what they, and stands means, you know, they didn't have enough to overturn it.
Right.
And so now the Dodgers right back to being an out away from setting a new record for consecutive scoreless innings to begin a season. It's Solarte, who's 1 for 2 today. And one hit was a squibber that Maeda threw away. Review lasted 3 minutes 2 seconds officially.
Can you imagine if this is a 1-0 game? The reaction from the crowd here with the big screen in HD. Not to overlook Adrian Gonzalez's great play. He's had 2 of those where he's stopped a run at home plate.
We saw replay in a much more decisive situation last night in Tampa Bay. Play a hand and the new slide rule for the first time. I shouldn't be getting into this with 2 outs because Nomar is already wanting to jump. We'll have a few innings to talk about this, but
we'll drop that.
Yeah, we won't get Nomar going on the overturned call in Tampa last night that ruled an illegal slide, taking 2 runs off of the board from the Blue Jays, ending the game a 1-run loss. They had scored 2 runs on what was a throwaway at second base after a breakup slide to go from down 1 to up 1 with 1 out in the 9th inning. But replay review decided that it was an illegal slide by the new rule and therefore an automatic double play. And so instead of going up by a run, the game ended and they lost by a run. John Gibbons suggested that maybe today, in his words, they come out and play in dresses. He was not happy with the overturn. Foul tipped into the mitt for strike 3, and a little bit of history here in 2016. 24 consecutive shutout frames to open the 2016 season. A new Dodger record. Eight Japanese-born Dodgers. Dave Roberts and Kenta Maeda in the Dodger dugout. Dave delivers the news that that'll do it for Maeda's debut, which was a memorable one in several different ways, guys.
Well, he picked it up right where he left off, from winning the Cy Young in Japan to coming to spring training and having an outstanding performance there in a Dodger uniform, and now here in the regular season.
Corey Seager leads off this inning, takes ball 1.
You talked about these pitchers coming in. When Villanueva came in, Booker, you're talking about once you get in there, you want to make an impact to the team, to feel part of the team. That's one thing, just get called up to the big leagues. But then when you're coming over from Japan, and not only you're just trying to acclimate yourself for a whole new environment, a whole new culture, and you want to make an impact and help the team, and he has done all of that.
Yeah, Kenta 1, Padres nothing. Dodgers 4. Padres nothing, but together it's 5-0.
And it's 23-0 in this series. Wow. As a cautionary tale, I remember early on last year, Tigers Twins opened the season in Detroit, and the Tigers outscored the Twins something like 22 or 23 to nothing. The Twins dominated the rest of the season series and wound up finishing ahead of the Tigers in the Central Division. Now, I think that Twins team was probably a little better with the call-ups that they had than this Padres team. But we got to keep reminding ourselves that it's a 162 game season. This is a very small sample size, but a dominating one nonetheless.
It's a fun sample size so far.
That it is.
And the players will tell you, you have to turn the page, and it's one page in a chapter and a lot of chapters in the season. But boy, it gives everybody a good feeling and a lot of momentum, and it'll feel even better on the plane to San Francisco to finish this one off.
Seager pops one up at third at Solarte. Ooh, had a hard time with that one, able to pull it in. Well, Saturday, April 16th, Dodgers and Giants at 6:10. First 40,000 fans in attendance get a Dodger branded knit cap, compliments of coffee bean and tea leaf. For tickets, visit Dodgers.com/promotions. So Seager's 0 for 4 tonight. Justin Turner comes up, sitting at 1 for 3. An RBI single in the first inning, a couple of strikeouts since. Maeda, by the way, didn't have a single 3-ball count tonight. 84 pitches total in his 6 innings. Hand the ball off to the bullpen for the final 3. The Dodgers try to complete a series sweep to open the year. Turner with a base hit to right.
It's a good job by Justin Turner. He had a couple of strikeouts his last 2 at bats, and they were really trying to come in on him. And that ball, they were trying to come in, but he stays inside. If you see where the catcher set up, doesn't quite get in there quite as far, but it was still in the inner half. It wasn't down the middle. And he's able to go the other way with it.
Gonzalez has reached all 3 times. 3 walks. Played more games than anybody in the big leagues over the last decade. At least 156 games in 10 straight seasons. It's on this 0-1 pitch from Villanueva. Snap throw down to first, and they almost got Turner.
Remember Justin Turner, microfracture surgery in the offseason, rehabbed his legs. And we're seeing a lot of different plays in this series where those legs are being tested, and he's coming up healthy.
You know, and he was caught leaning because that ball was in the dirt, so he was anticipating the ball in the dirt, seeing if he can take the extra base.
Into the shift. Spangenberg the second one, and they turn it with Ramirez. So a double play finishes the inning. And with the Dodgers in front 5-0, we stretch in San Diego. Our Morongo Casino Resort and Spa slow-mo cam shows a great, memorable debut for Kenta Maeda. 6 shutout innings and a solo homer. Dave Roberts delivered the news that his night would end now, and Kenta understood just fine the reason for it. He threw 89 pitches, or 84 pitches. They hand the ball off to the bullpen with a 5-0 lead, and Orel, it's Yimi Garcia.
Well, the bullpen has been outstanding when you've got the consecutive scoreless inning streak from the beginning of the season running. Yimi's got one of those. You know, Kenta's night, 84, 57 strikes, 12 ground outs, no flyouts. 4 strikeouts and no walks. Immaculate 6 innings.
Derek Norris leading off this inning. Garcia slings it in at 91 for a strike.
I apologize. Kenta gave up 1 fly out. The app I was looking at has it wrong.
Delete it.
Delete the app? I don't think the bosses would like me to delete this app.
Under the bus the app goes.
And he had one. That was Matt Kemp, that one where he had that breaking ball.
So we talked about the record the Dodgers have now set for scoreless innings to begin a season, 24. They're now trying to join the 1963 St. Louis Cardinals as the only team in big league history to start the season with 3 consecutive shutouts. Once in Major League history. Tossed 3 consecutive complete games to open that 1963 season. How those talkback buttons working over there, boys? Not very well, huh?
Not too good right now.
I see over there testing them in and out. And a strikeout for Yimi Garcia to begin his night as he sits down Derek Norris. For those of you that haven't been in a TV booth, talkback buttons are what we use up here to be able to talk down to the truck. It mutes our microphone and allows us to talk to our television truck. Sometimes those go in and out.
Sometimes they're not muted.
Yeah.
Sometimes they bleed a little bit.
Alexi Ramirez 0 for 9 to start his Padre career. Came over from the Chicago White Sox as part of a much quieter offseason for the Padres. A.J. Preller's first year last year. They got Shields, they got Kemp and Myers and Upton, and Middlebrooks and Kimbrel, and Derek Norris. The ball that got out of the seats and had to throw back out of the field of play. Quieter offseason this year, though, with Ramirez. They got Rodney. The bullpen, they got John Jay in center. You got a new manager in Andy Green. Towering pop fly in the infield. Who wants it? Turner. 2 out. This week only, T-Mobile customers can get a free season-long subscription to MLB.TV Premium. Go to T-Mobile.com/MLB to sign up now and catch every moment on America's fastest-growing LTE network. Here's Blash. So the Padres made all those moves last year and then wound up winning 3 fewer games than they did the year before. So now 5 consecutive losing seasons for the Padres since those back-to-back West Division titles in 05 and 06. They've not made the postseason.
77 went down to 74. And so far, it doesn't look like it's going to change for a while.
Jabari Blash hammers a fly ball to left. Back is Crawford with room, and the inning is over. Again, nobody's got Kenta's pop to left. We've seen a couple of balls die on the track. Matt Kemp and then Blash. He and the Padres are still searching. Ball on Sportsnet LA is brought to you by Nissan. Choose Nissan today for great offers on our most exciting lineup ever. Shop online at choosenissan.com. And by Jack in the Box. Taste the Baconlicious Sourdough Bacon Ranch Combo only at Jack in the Box. Dodgers played at 4 in the first. They got 1 in the fourth on a Kenta Maeda home run. They lead 5-0. With Oral Hershiser, Nomar Garcia Park, and Alana Rizzo. Joe Davis with you at Petco Park for the final game of this season opening series before the Dodgers head off to San Francisco to open a 4-game set tomorrow. Huge breaker. Buckles the knees of Puig, strike one.
Not a lot of pitches thrown at 69 miles an hour in the big leagues. Goes up before it comes down, doesn't come down.
There's a drive to left center field. Puig turns and watches it. It's way back there and gone. Boy, by Puig's reaction out of the box, you would have thought it was gone by 50 feet. It just barely gets out. But a home run nonetheless, his first of the season.
We've seen that before from Yasiel Puig, where he's watching it, thinks it goes out, and it doesn't even leave the ballpark. But this one definitely, he extends those arms, he gets that breaking ball, gets it out there. Like I said, if we talk about this big ballpark, you can't just assume that it's going to be carrying out. And then watch Blash, he came close to catching that ball. At least it looked, you know, from where we're seeing sitting. And he's also a very tall man out there, so he's got the ability to rob some home runs out there.
I think he hits a Dodger fan on the way up.
Right there, see that? Oh.
My bad.
Real heavy marine layer right here now. The temperature has dropped. We've seen the balls get hung up out there. I think Yasiel really crushed it to get out of here tonight. He's got Kenta power.
He's 6 for 10 so far, guys. Yasiel Puig. 2 triples and a homer. Shades of his debut in 2013. Carl Crawford is 1 for 3. Waits on this 1-2 and goes down swinging. Time for our SoCal Honda in-game box score. Dodgers have scored 6 runs on 9 hits. Justin Turner with a couple of singles. Puig has 2 singles and then that solo home run. Another good night for the offense. But another night with a pitching. It's kind of stealing the show. Dodgers yet to give up a run. And now just 6 outs away from becoming only the 2nd team in Major League history to start the season with 3 shutouts. Clayton Kershaw, 7 innings of shutout baseball on opening night. Scott Kazmir in his Dodger debut yesterday, 6 innings, allowed just 1 infield single. Kenta Maeda tonight with 6 shutout innings of his own. How about Kazmir yesterday, Oral?
He was outstanding, especially the differential between the fastball and the changeup, and responding really from the spring training criticism he was getting from and worries from different people about, is he going to be ready? And he said, I feel good, I'm ready. And as a veteran, he kept gearing it up, and he showed us yesterday that the velocity was there, the location was there, change of speeds.
Peterson rolls one to first, backhanded by Myers, feeding Villanueva for the 2nd out.
Will Myers transferring in from center field last year, now playing first base. Nice little feed there. It's always an interesting play for getting new to the position, as we see J.P. Howell warming up in the bullpen. Going to get his first inning of work this year.
Here's A.J. Ellis. Taking ball 1. A.J. will get tomorrow off. Austin Barnes will make his 2nd start of the season, catching Alex Wood, who will take on Jake Peavy. What a special day that'll be tomorrow. Dodgers, Giants, and the Giants home opener. Giants coming off winning 2 of 3 in Milwaukee to open the season. Losing Jeff Samardzij's debut today. It'll be Stripling and Kane on Friday. Bumgarner, Kershaw on Saturday. 2-2 on Ellis. Olana, Alex Wood's already left the building to get ready for that start, huh?
Tomorrow, a 1:35 local first pitch. He said he's been setting his alarm to get up early all week long to prepare himself for that. So Alex Wood should already be in San Fran by now.
Here's Ellis bouncing one to short. Alexi Ramirez will throw him out and bring an end to the inning, which saw the first home run of the season for Yasiel Puig. Hammered it to left center. 2nd home run of the night for the Dodgers, and a 6-0 lead as we go to the bottom of the 8th. at these guys back in our Access Sportsnet studios in Los Angeles. Jerry Harrison Jr. showing off some of his pepper skills with John Hartsock. Ned Colletti's in the background taking scouting notes, perhaps preparing the foundation of a deal to ship one of these guys out of there.
You can tell who the GM.
Yeah. J.P. Howell comes in, guys.
First outing of the year. Jack of all trades, master of all. Can get out a lefty, can pitch a full inning, he can get righties out, bring him into bases loaded, no out, whatever you need.
Melvin Upton Jr. on there to pinch hit. Trace Thompson into the game defensively, something that Dave Roberts has done now in all 3 games in this series. In the late innings, replacing Crawford with Thompson. Howell's 0-1, and Upton cracks it in the air, foul, strike 2.
JP will take it personally that the bullpen has not given up a run. He's not going out there to be the guy with the name on breaking a streak. He works hard on every pitch in every situation. And sometimes the closers get reputations of they can't pitch on a night when they're just supposed to get some work. They need that adrenaline rush. They need that 9th inning and that save situation. JP Howell gives you the effort no matter what situation. He creates his own adrenaline.
Got in on Upton. In between Bounce Gonzalez. That is a much more difficult play than Adrian Gonzalez makes it look. This week only, T-Mobile customers can get a free season-long subscription to MLB.TV Premium. Go to T-Mobile.com/MLB to sign up now and catch every moment on America's fastest-growing LTE network. John Jay. You remember, Oral, during spring training when the Indians had loaded the bases against J.P. Howell, I think in a 1-run game, spring training game, and he got out of it and had just a huge pump of the fist.
Yep. I think he played wiffle ball in his backyard that way.
You know, in that bullpen, you need leaders as well, that veteran leadership, and that's what J.P. Howell brings.
Yep.
And with that attitude, it sets a tone. It sends a message to the rest of the guys. Even if it's spring training, that's the mentality he wants every one of his teammates out there in the bullpen to come into the game with.
It's a foul ball, and it's 2-2. Exercised a 1-year player option, did Howell, to stay with the Dodgers. Could have tested the free agent waters and probably made out pretty well, but wanted to stay in Los Angeles.
He loves LA. He loves playing with Kenley Jansen. He loves having Rick Honeycutt as his pitching coach. And I think he really wants to win a ring. One thing to say, you know, I can go get another job and I can maybe get a little bit more money, maybe a little longer term contract, but he likes what's going on here in Los Angeles.
His payoff to Jay. Sharp break on it, got him to bounce it to Utley, down to his knees, up to his feet, and over to first for the 2nd out. And did you see J.P. Howell's reaction?
He appreciates great plays behind him, and that was a good play by Chase Utley, getting to that, showing off the range, going over there, making the play, sliding. And one thing about Chase, he recognized that he has time at second, and when he gets up, then all of a sudden he got calm to make the good throw, and J.P. Howell pointing, reacting, appreciating it.
Hyperventilating.
You know what? I know, but I'll tell you, as an infielder too, when your pitcher gets fired up like that, you're fired up. You're like, yeah, I'm going to do another one for you.
Sure.
Spangenberg right back to him, and there you go. Inning over. Ho hum. 26 scoreless innings for Dodgers pitching to open 2016. Baseball on Sportsnet LA is brought to you by BMW. See a Southern California BMW Center today for exceptional offers, or visit SoCalBMW.com. And by Children's Hospital Los Angeles, we treat kids better. Kenta Maeda and a home run tonight, 6 shutout frames. The Dodgers have not given up a run through 26 innings in the season opening series. Luis Perdomo comes in for San Diego. He pitched on opening day and gave up 6 runs on 6 hits over an inning plus in his major league debut. This is a guy who is a Rule 5 pick from the Cardinals, and they see starting pitcher type stuff in him, so they don't want to give him up, but they would risk doing so as a Rule 5 pick if they optioned him back to the minor leagues.
Yeah, you don't want to option him back to the minor leagues because you have to give an opportunity for your old club to get him back. And with this experience, who knows what St. Louis would do.
Kike Hernandez hitting out of the 9 spot. That's strike 1.
You don't want to hurt a young man's psyche, and if it becomes fragile, if all of a sudden somebody who hasn't pitched above A ball has to be in the big leagues with you all year, and you watch out for outings like he had on opening day.
And it was almost entirely because of that Rule 5 quirk that he made the roster. He had an ERA around 15 during spring training. Kike hammers a base hit to left.
Baseball's an experiential game, and very few people can jump from high school or college right into the big leagues. They need to learn what a big league slider looks like, but to do that, you got to go through the A-ball slider, the AA slider, the AAA slider, and you start to see it. And the same thing for pitchers. The hitters at the big league level will tell you in a hurry the new definition of a mistake. A-ball, you probably have enough arm, and if you can spin the ball, you can get through A-ball and have pretty good numbers. AA, you know, you got to throw it hard, maybe a little better location and a little bit more than spin it. Maybe you got to have a changeup. And then it starts to get really refined when you get to AAA, and in the big leagues, it's another scale.
And that's the same thing for a hitter.
Yep.
Same things. Going, okay, I can get by because you know the pitchers will make those mistakes, or at each level, and then you get to that AAA where these guys who have been in the big leagues maybe back and forth, so they're going to make less mistakes. So you have to make the adjustment.
One ball and 1 strike on Chase Utley. Set the tone again tonight with a 6-pitch at bat to open the game. Finished it with a triple. Came in to score on Justin Turner's base hit. Dodgers scored 4 runs in that first inning. Single run in the 4th on Maeda's homer. Single run in the 8th on Puig's homer. So 3 triples, guys, in the first 3 games. It took the Dodgers 18 games to hit their 3rd triple last year.
Well, having a ballpark with this type of outfield as well also helps.
Utley on the ground to first. Foul ball.
Ball in front of the bag. It's home plate umpire Jim Wolf. Ball on the bag or after the bag. It becomes Adrian Johnson's call. Derek Norris not arguing there, and he'd probably have the best view for the Padres.
Overshift on for Utley. He tried to beat it the other way his last time up. Alexi Ramirez made a nice play. Here he's down on strikes. Chase likely will finish the night at 1 for 5. Perdomo with a punch out. 1 away for Corey Seager. Hitless in 4 at-bats this evening.
You know, we were talking about the pitchers coming up through every level, single A, double A, the adjustments. Talk about Perdomo, but also we talked about hitters. But how about Corey Seager? What he's done at every level, what he did last year to get that call up, and what we've seen in just such a short time from September till now. How he's already making adjustments as well, and it's those adjustments that you see, and also hearing from the veterans how he'll talk to veterans and ask them questions is going to help him stay for a long time.
Hard hit, base hit into center for Seager. Kike off the crack of the bat at his mind on 3rd.
Is that a pop-up, a ground ball back to the pitcher, a strikeout, and another pop-up, but no ill effects of looking at an 0 square in the eyes. Corey Seager just uses the middle of the field and just scorches it up there. Kike Hernandez with a nice solid turn, and as you said, Joe, he was not thinking 90 feet. He was thinking 180. Corey just looking and smelling baseball all the time, trying to see if he could find another 90.
I see him slip a little bit there, and I get worried. I'm like, are you okay? Let's not forget, you remember the knee that he was dealing with in spring training. So
Justin Turner. Hey, Oral. You know what Corey Seager kind of reminds me of in his temperament, the way he's arrived? Another shortstop that wore number 5. Huh? Who would that be?
Guy between us?
Yeah. You see any of yourself in the way that he carries himself? I'm not trying to put you on the spot.
He's a lot calmer. The way he does, the way he goes about it, he just seems like it's just he's calm.
Justin Turner sends a fly ball to right. Kemp is over to make the play, but it will score Hernandez because of Hernandez's hustle on the base hit previous.
That definitely changes that at bat for Justin Turner, and he appreciates it. I think the one thing that I see similar from Corey Seager is, one, coming into spring training and being told, hey, your rookie season, that's your job. You're going to be the starting shortstop. And I remember being told that and then just going, okay, now it's my thought of just preparing myself. And that's what he did this whole spring, even dealing with the knee. But now it's about preparation, but also just kind of embracing it, and not, you don't see the pressure. I didn't feel like I had pressure when I was told that. I just said, okay, just keep doing what I'm doing, because they have confidence in what I've done to this point.
Adrian Gonzalez grounds one to first. Will Myers steps on the bag and ends the inning. Dodgers add one on a sacrifice fly from Turner to the bottom of the ninth, and a chance at more history when we come back. Reliable. Clayton Kershaw took the ball on opening day, 7 shutout innings, gave up just 1 hit. Then it was Kazmir. He went 6. He allowed just 1 hit. Kenta Maeda in his major league debut, 6 scoreless frames. The bullpen was perfect last night. Bullpen has had 2 scoreless and 2 perfect innings tonight. And now Joe Blanton makes his Dodger debut with a chance to make more history for the Dodgers. If he can get 3 outs here, the Dodgers will join the 1963 St. Louis Cardinals as the only teams in big league history to start the year with 3 shutouts.
Joe Blanton gets that challenge, and he's taken other challenges to remake himself from a starter to a reliever, to add a slider that he really throws a lot more, and to really pound that strike zone. A guy like Scott Kazmir, who kind of hit a wall in his career and had to reinvent himself, and he has done a very fine job at that.
Kemp, Myers, Solarte coming up. Kemp 2 hits tonight. 2 of the 5 San Diego hits. They have all been singles. They're all against Maeda. 1-2-3 inning for Garcia. 1-2-3 inning for Howell. Foul tipped hard off of A.J. Ellis. 0-2.
It doesn't sound good, and it doesn't feel good.
That one kicks away from Ellis. Took a nice carom for him, and Kemp took his time getting out of the box, so they get the out.
What a play over there by Adrian Gonzalez. I mean, one, AJ getting to that ball to make the throw, but that's going into the runner. That's a scary feeling as a first baseman. Watch Adrian Gonzalez here. You know, Watch, you got Matt Kemp at the angle he's coming at, and the ball is going into the runner. And to stay with it, because right now you're just going, do I go for that ball? Because the runner's going to come in, he hits my hand, and
it's a wrist injury waiting to happen.
And
wrist or elbow.
Comes out of it clean.
Will Myers dives out of the way of a ball that got away from Blanton. 1-0. Everything has gone right in the season opening 3-game series. Starting pitching, magnificent. Bullpen, nearly perfect. Offense, dialed in, showing some power tonight. Up and down the order, professional at-bats. With the tone set, the opening at-bat of the season. Chase Utley goes 7 pitches against Tyson Ross and doubles. Seager followed with a double. And it's just kept on coming for the boys in blue.
Out of a spring training where so many people were hurt that the regular lineup really never took the field together. We didn't really know where we're going to end up. But they have come together in a hurry here in San Diego. And all for that man right there, Dave Roberts, in his first year as a Dodger manager, joining a couple other Dodger managers that have won their first 3 games when they put the blue on. Davey Johnson in '99 and Wilbert Robinson in 1914. All 3 now, if we can sew this one up, start 3-0.
And it's on to San Francisco as soon as this one finishes. 1:30 Pacific tomorrow. 3-2. 2 gone in the 9th inning.
Two kind of sliders that are hard to hit. One that breaks really well and one that backs up because it's got a spin like it's supposed to break and it fools the hitter. Slider spin's supposed to go from right to left from a righty. Well, it didn't go right to left. It went left to right and froze him.
Solarte. Strike 1. It is a tiny sample size. It is only 3 games, but it has had a little bit of everything. New record set. Some guys that the Dodgers have counted on to come into the year and provide bounce back performances, showing signs of being able to do that. Some veterans recapturing some of their youth-like days. Joe Blanton, one of them. And now a strike away from finishing this off.
I really like that pitch right there, Oral. The movement on that pitch.
This will be only the 3rd time in the last 20 years that the Dodgers have opened a season 3-0. This will be their 9th consecutive win against San Diego. Puig homered tonight. Seager's had a great series. Utley out of the leadoff spot all 3 games. At second base all 3 games. Gonzalez, his usual steady self. 7-0 in the 9th at 2-2. Wood and Peavy tomorrow. Stripling and Kane Friday. Kershaw, Bumgarner Saturday. Fly ball to right field. Peterson and Puig. It's Puig, and it's a sweep for the Dodgers to open 2016. They joined the 1963 St. Louis Cardinals as the only teams in Major League history to start the year with 3 shutouts. Our Lexus player of the game, Kenta Maeda. 6 scoreless innings, doing just what Kershaw did on opening day and what Kazmir did last night.